before we start wrapping up, I have a game segment for you.
Yeah,
the drum roll. Yeah, that's
cool.
what we need.
Yeah.
It's an improv masterclass.
Cool.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to list down some common character templates. Interesting, you mentioned how Tina Fey adds some nuances to it, the way you've studied it.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a very short, let's say, portrayal of that character, 5 to 10 seconds max. You can do it in the beginning or in the end.
Okay.
And then would like to focus on how you created the character. So what kind of mannerisms you gave it, accents, inflections, stage position, volume, emotional state, props, how you just build that character. We'd just love to know how you build a certain character. Does that sound good?
That sounds great to me. I'm gonna to the best of my ability, I'm just gonna do this and just I'm just gonna jump into these. I'm game. I'm totally game. Let's do this.
It's good because too late to.
It's too late. I'm here.
Too late to back up. Yeah, you have.
I'm
to.
in the elevator.
Yeah, you have to.
I can't escape the elevator. Yeah.
There we go. So,
cool.
First character for you is an evil king, or like an evil boss, position of authority.
Yes, let him in. Let him in. Bring me my chalice with some mutton, please. I've been writing in my journal lately. No one cares. Is anyone in the throne room? Alone. Again, by myself. You are in here. Mildred, you have to tell me if you're in here. Please.
And we'll do the scene
Cool,
there.
okay.
And let's try to dissect that. I found it very interesting. So you went for usually when you say king, people just try to take a lot of space and they increase the volume. But you went for more of a twitchy, fidgety.
Because I thought, kings can be anxious as well. Yeah. And maybe they don't know how to relate to people because they are singular, they're, that's a cool thing about playing the king on stage. This is just like a scene thing. The king can't play the king. Everybody else around the king has to play the king.
Very interesting.
So
very interesting.
The king just knows he's the king, right? Or they're the queen or whatever. So I thought maybe play with the status of that.
Yeah.
It's like the subverting the expectation, right? The expectation, king, high status. It's like, no, make them low status, insecure maybe.
Do you always like providing the contrast? Let's say if I say a gangster and suddenly you come in with a soft voice instead of this hard gravelly voice. Yeah.
For gangster, I don't know what I would do. Yeah, but that's kind of fun. I don't know who that guy was, but
because already people have this impression of a gangster being something, and then you come in and you just start speaking in a high pitched voice. And immediately there's laughter.
You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Looney Tunes, like the gangsters from Looney Tunes, and I love them. So that one that was like kind of short, he had a cigarette right outside of his mouth. You see him talking to you. You talking to me? Yeah. You're right. Like
very Goodfellas.
That kind of guy. Or like some amalgamation of Goodfellas or Joe Pesci or any of those guys in the bar, like Johnny Two Time or whatever. Those fun names. And thinking of a fun name, if you're a gangster, you got to have a fun name or something, right?
Comes with the job.
You got to have a Tommy gun. What are you? That's what I do. I think of, if this is a character, this is great, Shalaj. So if this is a character, what, and you and I, we probably played with action figures when we were kids. If this in action figures come with, tools and like this one has a machete or a backpack or whatever it is, what are the 5 items that character might have? Like the king has his mutton. And he's got his wine chalice. He's probably got his crown on, and he's probably, I imagine he's sitting on maybe he's cold and he's got a little shawl. Thinking about those things, that's where I can have fun. Start answering those questions. It's all questions too. It's like
very interesting.
Yeah.
So next character, and I'd just like to create a straight contrast because I think that'll be quite interesting to see. We did an evil king. What if it's a good king or a good boss or a good position of authority?
Yeah. Okay, whole Dunkin' Donuts crew, we're good. Everybody got munchkins. We got more munchkins. We got backup munchkins for the munchkins. And make sure you get them, okay? All right? Yeah. And the bonuses are going to be coming in. So that's going to be coming in tomorrow. And I feel terrible because I know I said it would be happening Monday. So, goodness gracious. This is leaking here. And that's my fault because I left. No. Marty, do not do this. I am one of you. I am the manager here, but I couldn't expect you to clean this up if I couldn't clean this up myself. So there you go.
And scene. let's dissect that. So what did you change this time? You kept the position of authority. So what do you keep and what did you change?
So I feel like this person's a boss, but in the way that Michael Scott maybe, wants to be the friend, but also has a big heart for these people.
Yes.
And how else can I show this person has a big heart? Maybe they have a phone call and their daughter's, needs to be picked up at school because X, Y, and Z. Maybe they have, maybe somebody at work lost their wallet and they just give them a couple bucks or whatever. I don't know what it is. Cleaning up as if you were one of the employees kind of levels you. I like playing the everyday person probably a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's really.
Do you think this was mainly dialogue driven, or do you think there were any changes in mannerisms? Like for the king, you had this certain aura around you, which is slightly fidgety. You were throwing out commands, but you had that presence. Do you think you kept that same mannerism with the good boss as well?
I think the good boss was more. He's leading from his heart more. He's more upright and looking about how can I serve, how can I help other people, and making sure he's connected with other people. Whereas the king is down in his thoughts more, right? And not in selfish in a way.
Yeah.
And kind of like cold. Whereas the other guy's like trying to lead with his heart, I think.
It's very interesting. This is like a class in psychology, body language as well. It can help not just people getting into improv, or psychologists.
Well, that's the thing. Like when we get nervous or we're in a space with a lot of people, like we tend to like drop our head and look down.
Yes.
But that's the most dangerous place to be because then we're not getting any information. So it's like to look up and eye contact is so important. I mean, even in relationships, on stage, being eye to eye. Yeah.
Valuable advice. Let's move to a third template, and I think this will also be a good contrast. So let's do a subject to the king, and let's take it's a good subject, or it could be an intern, a student, someone who's looking up to someone in position of authority. Yeah.
My lord, we just came in from the fields, and the fields are overgrown, sir. We really have got to. Sure, right, sir. You're right, and that's why you're the king, and I'm. Yep, right. Some of the boys were in the stalls. They were complaining that not much meals. No, me? No, I wouldn't. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing down there. I wouldn't say that to you, sir. No, sir. You're the best king we could have ever had. Off with his head. Me? No? Oh, somebody else.
And scene. Let's dissect that. So what do you try to incorporate into that character?
Somebody who is probably rough and rugged, like a real warrior, but is also very much afraid of the system and also very afraid of like the immediacy with which you can just be like head chopped off. So it kind of tells me a little bit about that world, that the king is very much in charge, and like Alice in Wonderland, it's like off of their heads, like that kind of, those are the stakes. So that would be the main thing for me in that one, is like that character has high stakes. It's life or death for that soldier.
Yeah, that came through. How would you contrast that? Let's do it. Number 4. It's an evil subject to a king, or an evil student, evil intern, a sly intern, someone crafty, cunning.
Yeah. So you really, now that everyone has left, you don't have to deal with these kinds of things, sir. There are so many things that, say, a potion might cure. So if this were to drop into somebody's goblet, it would be such a terrible thing. Maybe a sickness to pass, sir. I don't know, but also I can hide it. You're interested. Yes, maybe if the queen possibly had a drink of her cider in the morning. I don't know.
And scene. So let's dissect that. Yeah,
Cool.
I thought you had that sniveling, sly character.
Yeah.
Very shifty. I thought the way you were using eye contact, or the way you were shifting your head as well, I think that immediately gave the impression that is a person not to be trusted.
Somebody that like I think they say that one of the scariest things in like body language or like is when something's uneven. Or there's something that like looks different than what you're used to. And so for me, that character is scary. There was something about their voice that you didn't know where their voice was going to go. Like they would change very quickly. And I could, there's something fun about that in being unpredictable.
that's kind of scary.
Very interesting. Yeah. So the more unpredictable, the more unstable, not unstable maybe, but yeah, the more inconsistent it is. So you feel like you can't rely on the character, can't trust it because you never know what kind of surprise.
Yeah, and then
Very
that's kind of
interesting.
evil and scary. Yeah, and like, that puts me on edge as an audience.
That's a great
member.
insight.
Yeah.
Next character, monster.
Mm. Out here in the woods by myself. No one to see me, no one to eat, no human to eat. Frogdoor very hungry. Frogdoor's been under this tree for a long time. Human! Human! I'm so sorry. Frogdoor's so hungry. Huh? Frogdoor's still hungry. Frogdoor hasn't had a human in 10 seconds.
And scene. I love the choice you made with that. It was a very apologetic monster. I was like, I'm sorry for eating you, but I'm just hungry.
He's like a sweetheart,
Yeah.
like a gentle giant who's like, I just have to do this. I have to eat. I have to survive.
I also find it interesting that you didn't go. So when you ask people to play a monster, then usually it's very exaggerated. Like you have hands coming out, eyes bulging. But you made a choice where it was more of a like you said, a gentle giant, but not something too crazy, but like a monster that you can almost like empathize with. Like, oh, he's just hungry. Yeah, sure, go ahead, eat him.
Yeah.
Very human-like in a way, but also a monster. Yeah, it's a nice choice.
This has been very, like, honestly, this is helpful to me to be like, oh yeah, why do I make those choices?
Yeah.
For what reason? Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I feel like, I mean, sure, you do think of it and do you study in the subconsciously, it just takes over when you're on stage. But like, we've grown up watching like so many monster portrayals and then it all comes together on stage in that moment. I just love watching like, so let's say when I say a king, obviously like we've spoke about this, someone's natural disposition is always to just immediately go on top. When you say monster, then immediately like get something out. Exactly, right?
Right, yeah,
and not even thinking of it actively in the moment. I just find that very, very fascinating. Yeah. So helpful for me as well.